Hi all, here's a guide on how to use Tilemap layers. I'll be using my water temple tileset, link in the description. Quick note, if you've already set up the original Tilemap node in your scene, click on it. Go to the Tools icon on the right side of the Tilemap menu. Select Extract Tilemap Layers as individual Tilemap layer nodes. This will change all the layers you've already created into Tilemap layers, and they will keep the names and the sprites you've assigned to them. Afterwards, you can change the original type by right-clicking on it and selecting Change Type, and you can change it to whichever thing you feel you need in that instance, or you can just delete it. Make sure to move the Tilemap layers outside of the Tilemap node if you do delete it, because if you don't, it'll just delete the whole thing. Now you can add a Tilemap layer of node by either pressing Ctrl-A or by clicking the plus icon on the top left of the screen. You can search it manually, but it's easier to just type in tile in the search bar. You'll likely see the original Tilemap node has an X next to it. That means it's depreciated. Eventually it's going to be removed. Just don't bother using it. Note, you can add nodes to your favorites by clicking on them and clicking the little star icon on the right. Clicking them off will just remove them also. To set it up, go to the inspector on the right while the Tilemap layer is selected. Go to Tileset and click on the drop-down menu to choose one of three options. New Tileset will let you make an entirely new tileset. Quick Load will let you choose from a list of compatible file types, or Load, which lets you search for tiles within your project directory. For now, we're going to be hitting New Tileset. To save a Godot tileset, right-click on it or click on the drop-down menu and go to Save As. Name it, and choose either the Tres or Res files format, then save it. Afterwards, if we were to say remove this one, and we were to go to Load or Quick Load in this case, it now shows up here, and you can select it. The file has to be in your project files, otherwise it won't find it. Click on the newly made tileset to access its settings. The default size for the sprites is 16 by 16. If you need a different size, like 32 by 32, 48 by 48, etc., you can change it here in tile size. Tile shape is used to change if you want isometric, half offsetted squares, or hexagon-shaped tiles. Offset axis can change its direction, being horizontal or vertical. Tile layout controls how it's indexed, or essentially the order of the files. It's a bit easier to see what it does when there's actual tiles set in your scene. For this project, we're going to be using the square tile shape. With that ready, scroll down to Tileset at the bottom of the screen. You can either drag and drop your tileset into the empty space, or you can hit the plus icon next to the trash can, click Atlas, go to where your files are located, in my case it would be a folder called Sprites, and add it directly from there. The pop-up gives you the option to set up your tiles automatically based on what spaces are or aren't fully transparent. You have the option to do it either automatically or to do it manually. Clicking Yes will let you fill up the entire sheet. But if I wanted to do it manually, in this case I would undo what I've just selected. I can just click and drag to make the tiles. If I hold Control, I can make multiple tiles at the same time, and if I were to hold Shift, I can make one large tile. You can also have a single tile, go to Select, click and drag the red dots to the size that you want it to be. You can also manipulate it using the size in Atlas underneath Atlas Coords. You can only move the dots that are red. If they are, say in this case, gray dots like this, you cannot move them because the squares cannot overlap on top of each other, so it just will not work. Atlas Coords will let you change the position of your selection. You can drag it across the screen, or you can move it using the X and Y in Atlas Coords. Again, it will not let you move it off of your map, and also won't let you move it on top of another. It will give you an error. Going back to setup, you can use the eraser tool to erase squares that you don't need. Clicking the three dots, you can use either create tiles in non-transparent texture regions to add all non-transparent tiles, the same way as if you'd have done it automatically. And in this case, since I manually drew out some squares and added some transparent cubes, you can go to remove tiles in fully transparent texture region to automatically remove all the tiles that aren't needed. In the tileset menu, you can change the name of the tileset to anything that you want. Margins can change the starting point of all the drawn tiles on either the X or the Y atlas. If I were to add 16 to X, it would move 16 to the right, and if I were to add 16 to Y, it would move 16 down. Separation can be added to put spaces between each row on the X or the Y axis. Adding 16 here would separate it one square each by 16 by 16 tiles. And texture region can change the size of all the tiles. If I were to change this to 32 by 32, they are all now 32 by 32 squares. If your tileset has spaces that can't be edited at its corners, like over here, your original file may not be properly formatted. In my case, all my tiles are supposed to be 16 by 16. This corner here is 1 pixel too small on the right side, which makes that entire row 15 by 16. The fix is very easy. You just have to edit the original file so that it's the proper size. You can update your files by either editing the files under the file system and saving it, such as bring it into a sprite, fixing it, and then saving it. Or you can go to the tileset, clicking the texture drop down, and loading a new file in your project. Using the texture dropdown gives you the option to auto-make tiles again. Saying no will keep your original setup. You can either manually add the tiles in yourself, or automatically add them if you didn't already. The paint menu can change different things. Texture origin can change the origin points of the tile, this crosshair right here, which can affect how it's placed. If I were to say change this to 6 by 6 and click it, it is now offset by 6 pixels. Well, 6 by 6 pixels. And you can multiple drag to do multiple tiles at the same time. Modulate changes the color/saturation. Z index changes the tile sorting. Case in point, the 2 will always be on top of any number that is 1 or lower. Y-sort origin affects the vertical sorting for a tile. It's useful for things like a character walking behind a tree. I will have examples of some of these coming up soon. Also, you can change the Y-sort origin and the Z index if you go to select, rendering, and you can find them there. Terrains is what you need to use in order to set up auto tiles. I don't have enough information for this at the moment, so I would need to make another video later. Probability will affect how often a tile is placed, likely when you're using it randomly. Currently, they all have the same chance of popping up if you were to try and paint them at the same time, but if I were to say change them to 0.1, the tiles I've selected down here will have a much lower chance of popping up than the tiles that do not have this. To paint tiles, go to the Tilemap menu that's next to Tileset and select one of several options at the top. The pencil-shaped paint tool lets you click and drag to draw a tile. Holding Shift lets you draw a line. Holding Control-Shift lets you draw multiple at the same time. And if you hold Control, click and drag over a set of tiles, you can then stamp that shape into multiple different locations on your map. The selection tool lets you click and manipulate tiles you've already placed. You can select multiple at the same time, or you can go to Patterns, select a set of tiles, and either click and drag into the box, or select the pattern and copy paste into this box. This will allow you to save a pattern that you intend to use multiple times. The rest are fairly straightforward. The line tool draws a line. The rect tool draws a shape that you fill in. The paint bucket will fill all of the empty spaces. If contiguous is off, it will fill every single empty space available. Or it will replace every single tile that you've selected, regardless of if they're connected. Turning it on keeps it to that single space. The picker tool lets you pick a tile you've placed and then allows you to paint with it. The eraser removes tiles. The eraser works with every single tool that you currently have available. Rotate tile right and rotate tile left lets you rotate the tiles that are being placed. You place down the tile, then you click the rotate, and the next tile will be turned in the direction that you've selected at a 90-degree angle. Flip tile horizontally will let you flip the tile on the horizontal axis, so it'll essentially go from left to right. Flipping tile vertically will allow you to flip the tile up and down. The dice icon activates Place Random Tile. Selecting multiple tiles normally will just have you draw the tiles exactly as you've selected it. With random, it will place one random tile from the tiles that you've selected. If you've influenced the probability, some will pop up more than others. Scattering will affect how often you see an empty space when you place a tile. The higher the number, case in point 0, 1, 5, the more likely that it happens. All of the available tools have a hotkey that is associated with them. Case in point, paint tool is D, line tool is L, rect tool is R, etc., etc. To layer tile maps on top of each other, you have to make a new tilemap layer. You can either duplicate the node, make sure to erase all of the old tiles from the new layer, that way you're able to start fresh. Then you can draw the new tiles into their correct spots, and it will be layered properly on top of everything. Or the alternative is you create a new tilemap layer, completely fresh, go to Tileset, and click either Quick Load or Load, Quick Load in this case, and load in the tileset you've already made. Clicking New Tileset in the Tileset menu will make a completely fresh tileset with nothing in it. One very quick note. If say you ever find your tiles just completely off screen and you can't see them, you can click the crosshairs in the right corner of the map and it'll center the view for your tile map. If you have multiple layers, you can use the arrow keys to scroll through them, or you can click Select All Layers to select every tile layer that you have available in your scene. For animated tiles, you go to the Tileset menu. You can double click on it to go straight back there. You have to go to the tiles that you want to have animated. In this case, it would be my statue that is 64 by 64 in size, and my running water animations that would be vertically aligned. For a statue, click on your tileset, go to the Select menu, click on the frame, and you can go to Animation, Frames, and for horizontal animations that are just very simple, click Add Element, and it'll just automatically add all the frames that are available to it. Let me place it in the scene to make it easier to see. The alternative is I can go to Columns, add 3 because I have 3 frames in my animation for my 64 by 64 statue. click Add Element until it is completely filled. The columns will limit how far the new frames go. If I change 3 to 2, instead of being 3 straight, it'll be 2, and it will drop down to the next line until I add another frame, in which it will just go 2 by 2 by 2. To change the speed, you go in Animation, go to Speed, and change number. The higher the number is, the more frames per second, which would make it faster. It cannot go into negative numbers. So if you want it to slow down, you would have to use decimals, such as 0.1, 0.25, 0.5. To change specific frame speeds, you have to go to Frames, and beside duration, change the number there. The higher the number in this case, the slower it goes. Each frame is ordered from first to last. For a vertically aligned tileset with separation, you select each tile. You can select multiple when you do this. And in this case, it's multiple tiles instead of one large tile because I want them all to be usable on their own. You go down to Separation under Animation, and for mine, I need to add 3 to Y and leave X at 0. Because X would make it move to the left or to the right, and I don't need it to move in either direction. I just need it to go down. The way that this works is Y, starting with this corner here, it will take this, count 3 squares, and then select the 4th one. All of these tiles are 3 squares apart. You have to change columns to 1. Leaving it at 0 will cause it likely to not work. Then you add the frames. In my case, I have 3 of these tiles going down. And then the animation is fully selected. Change the speed, change the duration, and all should be good. For a basic Y-sort origin setup, go to the inspector with your layer selected. I advise you to make a separate layer for things you want to have Y-sorted. Go to Canvas Item, Ordering, and enable Y-sort enabled. Afterwards, repeat the last 2 steps to activate Y-sort enabled on your player, which would be your character body 2D. Then go to your node and also activate Y-sort enabled. If you want collisions on your tile map, go to your Tilemap layer, click on your Tileset layer, Physics layer, and add element. If you're using multiple Z indexes in your project, set your Tileset layer and your player layer to the same Z index number. If one is higher, the higher one will go on top, and if it's lower, it'll just stay underneath it. Afterwards, go to your tileset, select, scroll to Rendering, and change the Y-sort origin number to where you want the cutoff from front to back to be. In my case, it would be 6, so it would be at the bottom of my statue where the water hits the ground. That way, when the character and that point intersect, it'll be right behind it. You can also use the Y-sort origin in Paint Properties. This allows you to set it multiple times on multiple objects. If I were to hit play right now, I would be able to walk in front and back of the statue. But because there's no collision setup, it doesn't get blocked when my character tries to walk into it. If I want collisions, I would have to go to my tileset, Paint, Physics layer 0, which would be the physics layer you've just made. In my case, I deleted what I had before. You can click the 3 dots to reset to the default shape tile in the event that you have that issue. Zoom out because it'll likely be very zoomed in if you're working with it. And I'm going to set my shape to where it is along the curve of the body and just where the feet match. You can use these to add new points, this to edit the points you already have, this to just delete all of your points, and also the little magnet in the corner here you can toggle to either disable snap, put on half pixel snap, or grid snap. Putting on grid snap will let me snap all of my points along the grid. Afterwards, while in Paint menu, click on the body and it will add it to every one that is needed. Now, if I hit play again, and I try to walk through this statue, it won't work because the collisions are set up. So now we cannot just trample through it as we please. These walls on the ground have collisions set up, but no Y-sword origin. So I can go in front and back as I please. There's also no collisions on anything else because I can just walk straight across the map. If you want all of your animations to not start at the same time, you can go to the select menu. Select all the animations that you want to have a different start time, animation, mode, switch default to random. And they will have at least a little bit of randomness to when they decide to move. Whether that looks good is an entirely different thing. Now, with that being said, this is the end of my tutorial. I appreciate you all for being here, and I hope you all have a good day. The tileset that I use in this video is my water temple tileset that I have posted on itch.io. I will post a link to it in the description, and the little character on the screen is a work in progress, where it will also be added to that tileset. I hope you take care, get some snacks, take a nap if you need it, and have a good day. Bye!